Your resistance comes second. When you feel truly inspired, your fear and resistance are not likely to be far behind. One of my childhood dreams was to write a book. And yet when I received a contract to write my first book in 1998 at the age of 40, I was shocked to find that a part of me wanted to tear up the contract and tried to pretend that the opportunity wasn't there and had never happened. The bottom line was that I was afraid. I sensed that my life could expand if I were to become an author. And parts of me did want a bigger life. And parts of me were terrified of that prospect. My mind went into overdrive about what could go wrong. What if I couldn't actually deliver the rest of the book? What if what I did deliver was just disappointing? What if I got bad reviews? What if I couldn't cope with giving lots of talks and interviews? What if the book was better than the person who wrote it and people were disappointed in me as an author? But then my mind would go in the other direction. And what if it all went well? What if the book was a success? What then? Could I cope? Could I live up to it? Would I just be a one-hit wonder? Would I have to sacrifice myself to please everyone else? Would I lose myself in the process? What if my life no longer felt like my own? And what about all the trees that would have to be cut down to print the books? That was the way my mind worked. I imagine you can recognize some of those thoughts and patterns. All roads seemed to lead to the possibility of me feeling bad. So much better just to tear up the contract and not take any of those risks. I was afraid of failing, but I was also afraid of succeeding. But despite all my fears and mixed emotions, my soul seemed to be very clear. And if souls do scream, my soul was screaming at me to sign the contract. So I did. And in doing so, I know I had made a commitment. I'd crossed a threshold into a potentially new and expanded world. And when the book was published, just over a year later, it gradually took off and it did become a bestseller. And my life did expand. And I have gradually grown in confidence and to be able to handle the possibilities that came to me and that I have chosen to create. But this was a pivotal moment of understanding for me. What I learned has served me well in my own self-leadership, as well as in being a guide to my clients. Inspiration and resistance usually come as a package. Buy one, get one free. When you feel truly inspired, your fear and resistance are not likely to be far behind. Leaning into the intersection of what has both inspired and terrified me has been the way that I have most grown and continue to grow, and I hope will continue to grow for the rest of my life. I've also come to understand that the amount of resistance can be equal to the level of potential for success. There is resistance because there is something wonderful to resist. I've come to realize that the more important a project or an action is to me and my own leadership evolution, the more resistance I am likely to experience. Everything that I do today that is my purpose and has helped me be successful, so that's writing, speaking, coaching and broadcasting, have been preceded by some level of resistance, from mild to sometimes chronic. This latest project, The Leader You Were Born to Be, has been incubating in me for probably a decade, but I've been too scared to show up and go public with it. But now I've crossed that threshold. So I've come to see this simple truth. Your resistance and what it tells you is wrong. It is lying to you. It tells you you are not up to the very job that you have come to earth to do, and that work is for yourself and for humanity. So what I want to tell you is you are up to it. You do have what it takes. So remember this in your own self-leadership. The greater your fear, the greater your gifts may be, and your potential for success and contribution.